Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake, I say, as I stab my knee into the desk, shaking everything on it.
I heard that. It sounded really painful.
I know you did. I could see it in the wavelength. Alright. Everything's going great. I can definitely unlock my phone by myself. I don't need help. I'm fine.
How great are things going, would you say?
Alright. Things are okay. Things could be worse.
I would say that they're going very great.
Oh man, I'm so glad that we got that on the recording. Welcome to Direct to Video VHS.
VHS.
A podcast where we pair movies like fine wine. This time we watched The Country Bears. Andy, have you ever been to the Country Bears Jamboree?
I have not. I have only ever... I think it was already taken out of Disneyland when I went as a kid. So I never got to go.
I think it's back. I don't know for sure.
I think it's at Disney World.
It's definitely at Disney World. Because just after we watched this movie, Jamie got a notification just like randomly on her newsfeed that it was closing, but it turns out it's just closing for repairs. It's fine. Foof. The Country Bears focuses on a concept that was probably almost outdated by the time they did it, which is this like making fun of hillbillies and hillbilly music because it's just a fun time concept.
We all love doing it.
Okay. Sure, why not? It's something that right now, if you want to find something like that, you can only find in like 100-year-old legacy comics. Because who talks about hillbillies anymore? And yet the Country Bears movie refuses to allow a bear to play a jug or like anything with one string on it. Have you ever seen Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas?
I have not, but I know what you're talking about.
Honestly, we probably should have watched that movie with this movie because the movie in the music in Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas feels more true to the Country Bears than this like pop rock country that they have in this movie. And that is, as I sat with it for a day, that is my biggest problem with this movie. And I think part of it is that I don't like pop country music. So every time they would play music, I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to sit back, just sort of chill out and wait for the cops to come back because they're fun. Or Barry's brother.
Oh, gosh. We're going to talk about Barry's brother. Dex, I think is his name. Dex, who I believe is not the middle brother from... Or not the older brother from Malcolm in the Middle, but I was convinced...
he has his hair.
I was convinced it was him, like, the whole time.
I think he would have been too old to play this character when this movie came out.
Yeah,
but
I think so as well. He does
look like him.
I'm actually trying to find this guy. His name is Eli Marienthal. It is the voice of Hogarth in Iron Giant, which is fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Good pull.
I will be honest, I think he is giving a stellar performance in this movie as the only person who sees things for how they are.
This is the thing.
It's like he came in from another movie, and everybody else has just grown up in this world, in the world of this movie, and bears are just like musicians, and he's like, that's a bear.
There was a sitcom that my parents used to watch. I don't remember what the name of it was. It was in Spanish. It was a Mexican sitcom. And the bit of the sitcom was that everybody in this family wore like this absurdly 80s like fluffy clothing.
Okay.
Except for the eldest daughter who wore normal clothing. And they were always like making fun of her like, why are you so weird? Why don't you act like the rest of the family? And this sounds
like a strange energy for a sitcom. I'm kind of curious about it now.
It's not that good.
Pity.
But it was a sitcom that my parents watched all the time, and I was thinking about it while watching this because like that's clearly what they're trying to go for with this character. Like, oh, he's like the only person in this weird world who understands that this is kind of an odd situation.
This is a weird situation. I want to be fair to this character. When he was first on screen, he's clearly supposed to be like bullying his little brother, but the only way I could read it was that he was fucking sick of lying to him.
It's not a good look for him because he spends like the first half of this movie just kind of being the worst.
But here's the thing. I was thinking about it, and if I'm from a big family, if one of us was adopted and my parents pretended they weren't, it would stress me out. Mm-hmm. Like, I would hate that. That sounds so gross to me, I guess.
Yeah.
For a child to like ask questions about their own personal history and not get a real answer from their parents feels bad to me. And I don't know. Family is complicated. But in this specific instance where the child is a bear, I think it's fair to say, yeah, you're a bear.
You're a bear.
And Barry clearly knows he's a bear, even though he doesn't know it because he has an ongoing obsession with the country bears.
And this is the thing that pisses me off. Mm-hmm. Is this a world where bears just kind of hang out, or is it not?
There are only, as far as I can tell, even though they go to a honey bar,
yeah,
there are only the country bears.
No.
Barry and one of the country bears' girlfriends.
No, you're wrong.
Okay, who else is there?
At the car wash, in the background, working at the car wash, are two other bears.
No way!
There are. And Tony, you know what? I think that's the only time they do that.
That is astounding because they do, and I have to say it again, go to a honey-themed bar where they serve honey. And when they go to the wedding, there's like a whole salmon that one of the bears is eating. So bear culture is part of our culture, right? So
yeah, right, exactly.
So like what percentage of people are bears? Like 0.1%? What are we talking about?
If every bear, hold on, how many bears are in the United States? How many bears?
Oh, we killed a lot of them.
How many bears are, yeah, but we're doing reclamation in the U.S. This has got to be a question. All right. 465,000 at the most.
Pretty low. That's not counting Alaska, right?
That is absolutely counting Alaska.
Shit, man.
No, sorry,
man,
it's not. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Oof, okay.
This is
that
excluding.
Makes me feel a little better.
This doesn't count Alaska, Idaho, South Dakota, Texas, and Wyoming, whose population sizes are unknown. So this is like the maximum numbers, like 500,000 bears. That's not a lot of bears. That's like enough to make a state. And so my question is why are they hillbillies? Because they're from the mountains, I assume.
I suppose they sure seem to live in. I don't know where they're supposed to be. California somewhere, probably.
And I thought they were in Nashville.
Fucking, they could be anywhere. I don't know.
Anywhere.
They could be at one point. Barry starts running home, and I was like, I didn't realize we were close enough to your house now.
The Wikipedia page says, and big citation needed for this, that the film takes place in a universe where bears coexist with humans. But I don't know where they got that from. I don't think they ever.
What they try to do is very clearly like Muppet rules, right? Where Muppets are around and nobody really questions it. But it's weirder with just these big bears than it is with the Muppets, because in the Muppets bears exist.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like Fozzie exists, but also bears exist.
Yeah,
frogs exist. Regular frogs are out there. Their legs are getting eaten. Mm-hmm. But Kermit exists.
And Kermit exists, and his family exists.
And his family exists. He's got like a big family. There's multiple frogs. He's got a nephew. Like.
But this is the other thing, right? And also, I might as well mention here that the animatronic bears in this movie were handled by the Jim Henson Company because, of course, they were. Who else could do it? Nobody.
They are off-putting.
They are terrifying. They look just like real fucking bears.
Do you know my favorite thing about this movie? I do think that this is my favorite thing. Christopher Walken shows up pretty early.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm going to be the bad guy in this movie. I'm trying to close down Country Bear Hall. And the bears are scared of him. And that's great because they are huge. They look like real bears. And Christopher Walken's like, I'm scarier than you.
And he is.
He is, like, genuinely he is.
The thing about the Muppets, right, is that in the world of the Muppets make up like 50 to 60% of the population.
That is, again, a bold statement. I would have guessed like maybe 20, but it's fine.
It depends on the movie, I think.
That's true. In Muppet Christmas Carol, they make up maybe 70% of the population.
No, absolutely, because the chickens are alive.
Right, but in the Muppet movie, they make up maybe 20 to 30, like a much smaller percent.
In the Great Muppet Caper...
Oh, there's a lot of them in Great Muppet Caper. The point is, yes, if you are in a world of the Muppets, you will occasionally run into a puppet that is unaffiliated with Kermit's group.
Yes.
You'll have the bit Great Muppet Caper where Sam the Eagle is there, and he doesn't want anything to do with any of them.
Yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head what the makeup of the Muppet movie, or I guess it was just called The Muppets, the 2011 movie. But I feel like it was a lot.
Well, a lot of the evil coded characters were working with the bank that was trying to tear down the Muppet Hall. Mm-hmm. Just like in this movie.
God, Jesus Christ, you're right. It's the same. And there's even a fucking Muppet kid coming from a human family.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How did they do this again?
I would say that the Muppets was ripping him off because you gotta remember they're both made by Disney. They were probably just like, let's rework this to work with the Muppets.
Here's the thing is that this idea, right? Oh, the bank is coming for the town hall. That was like the plot of like every show in the 60s.
Hey, let's back up and stop for a hot second because I do want to talk about this. The trope of getting the band back together.
Yes.
Is that from the Blues Brothers? Did they invent that trope?
No, it had to.
Because Blues Brothers reads as such a parody to me.
It has to
be. I was watching this movie and it was like beat for beat the Blues Brothers. And I was just like, I wish I was watching the Blues Brothers. Like, I wish this was Ray Charles doing this song right now. The thing about getting the band back together in Country Bear and Blues Brothers terms, and in the Muppets terms, is you have somebody who wants to get the band back together for whatever reason. They're trying to save something. They're trying to save a building or an institution or something important, right? Mm-hmm. So they got to get the band back together for one big benefit show. They go and visit each individual band member who is in some way down on their luck. In some way, they want to get back together with the band, even if they don't. And so you get snapshots of them at each of these different places. You get like Miss Piggy writing for Vogue, I think. And they come together, they play the big show. End of the movie. I'll be honest, the last time I watched the Blues Brothers, I thought the movie went on for a little long, but I think that finale is still better than both the Country Bears and the Muppets, which seem to think it's okay to just stop as soon as you do the show. And I'm like, that's not a real climax, though, because, like, what happened to the characters? Whatever. That might just be me, because, again, I grew up on the Blues Brothers. The Muppets did a way worse thing where they didn't make enough money and then just beat up the people from the bank.
No, that's better, actually. I would argue that that's better.
I mean, it's better, but, like, that means the next day the Muppets are being sued and their theater's being torn down.
Again, the Muppets exist in this, like, elevated world where I could believe that is a solution, right?
Then why didn't they just do that? One of them's a bear.
Because they wanted to, you have to do it the normal way first. That's how the Muppets roll. It also feels very old school Muppets, right? Like
classic for just like some sort of slapstick damage inducing finale to
here's the thing is
show.
Kermit the Frog beating the shit out of somebody is funny, right?
Yeah, but I think Gonzo did it, and that's less funny because Gonzo, I can see that from him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
because Gonzo's crazy, man. I don't know what he'll do.
Kermit has a darkness to him. If Barry, right, Sora himself, were to attack any of the humans in this movie, That's just a bear attack.
Yes, that would be terrible.
And therein, I believe, and therein is kind of one of the biggest problems of this movie is that these bears are, as a piece of like technology, truly impressive. But they do just look like big bears. And it is kind of scary sometimes.
And yeah, and part of that issue is that it can't deal with that because it's like a fucking G-rated movie, right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
it can't have a bit where they are scary. And they can't even do really like even like a Muppet style slapstick explosion or smack or something because it would feel so much worse. I bet there was a bit where they tried that. We're like, oh, why doesn't one of the bears just smack somebody? And they maybe filmed it and we're like, this is terrible.
Well, I mean, so I tried to look into the production of this movie very briefly this afternoon, and there is like nothing. It is almost impossible to find anything out about the production of this film. It's
Christopher Walken brought his own gun.
Yeah, dude, we're going to talk about it. There's some stuff you can find out about the making of the movie in terms of like, like the like raw labor that went into making it. Because this movie looks expensive. But unfortunately, this movie is a product of its time in two ways. One, it was a flop, which means that Disney would rather you forget about it.
And they're not entirely wrong.
Not entirely. I mean, they want you to remember the attraction. They don't want you to remember this movie. But the other thing is that this movie was produced and shot in, I think, a year because they needed to get it out ahead of the writer's strike that was going on in 2002. So part of the reason why it is like that is that this movie was basically made as it was made, like written as it was made, which is it didn't have really an extensive production process other than it's based on this attraction. You have 13 months. Do you want to guess how much his budget was?
I mean, like you said, it seems like a really expensive movie. I also have no earthly idea how much money is, particularly in 2002.
2002, like, it really skews the curve.
Is $100 million a lot of money? I think it sounds like a lot of money, so I'm going to guess that.
The problem is that something happens in 2008 that really throws off the curve of my ability to guess how much things cost when I was a kid.
Impossible to know.
This movie was made for a budget of $35 million, which at the time, and I think today, for a movie like this is kind of chump change.
I mean, I think that's impressive. Like you said, it looks like an expensive movie. They also get a lot of cameos from people who cannot be that cheap to get cameos from.
It really feels like they were calling in like all favors.
Okay, I know I already said my favorite part.
Yeah.
But low-key, my favorite part is when Elton John is there and doesn't sing or do fuck all. And they don't even realize it's Elton John until later. That is fucking hilarious.
I was kind of I was like, oh, is that just supposed to be Elton John as a gardener? That's a really funny bit. So the reveal later that no, that was just the real Elton John is choice. That was one of the few times the movie got me to laugh. This movie made $18 million at the box office total.
Womp womp.
Rough.
You hate to see it happen, but honestly, who was gonna go see the Country Bears?
Well, I can tell you one person who was really excited to see the Country Bears, and it was me.
Okay.
At the age of 7, I hate this movie so much as an adult but I did love this movie as a kid.
I'm glad that we finally hit one of those for you. I feel like we hit a lot of those for me.
Yeah, I don't understand how I liked this movie. It's so untethered from any plot or writing.
So let me talk about one thing about the way the way this movie was not produced or advertised. We're actually getting to talking about the movie.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we see the Country Bears when they're at their biggest.
At their peak.
They are more of a rock group than a country group. I talked about that. Like, they're like pop rock country.
They're like, I don't think we had the word for this in 2002, but they're what we would call stadium country.
So they were in a packed stadium doing fucking stage dives and everything. They never went on tour. And I think if you got a bunch of people in fucking bear suits touring the country to promote your bad bear movie, I think that would be great. I just kind of wish that had happened. I don't think that they would have been good, but I wish it had happened.
One of the things that I've heard about this, but I wasn't alive when it happened. But we've talked about it before, I believe, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live shows that were like all over the place. I think something that's more within like my living experiences, like the Wiggles.
I want more bespoke children's live entertainment.
But then you run into the problem again that these are just 5 big fucking bears.
Andy, you run into the problem that's fucking hilarious. As an adult, I would find that way more interesting than going and seeing Paw Patrol live in concert or whatever the hell.
Okay, yeah, but you don't go to watch the Wiggles because you're a big stan of fruit salad yummy yummy. You go because your fucking kid loves that shit.
Andy, there are certain people who go watch the Wiggles because they're a big stan of fruit salad yummy yummy.
Maybe so, but like
there are, let me say, like women of a certain age who are very into the Wiggles.
No, yes, I understand, but
perhaps men of a certain age.
You take a kid to see this shit, they're leaving in tears. They're terrified.
They might. Okay, yeah, that's true.
There is a photo that my aunt sent me like not a week ago of me sitting in a fucking Chuck E. Cheese fucking like little animatronic car. I look terrible. The photo's super faded, but like it doesn't look like I'm having a good time. Okay, we gotta talk about Barry.
Let's talk about Barry. So, actually, yeah, that was a documentary that was on that thing. Barry has an obsession with the country bears. Barry is, in fact, a bear. His obsession is because he doesn't feel like he fits in his family because they keep on fucking lying to him.
Because his parents, God bless them, because no one else will, found him at a national park.
So the story of this is very strange to me because it seems like the Rangers found him and at least for a while had him walking around with a collar on to track him, and it doesn't sound like he had a bear mother at that point, and eventually some people came to visit the national park and just left with the bear. Not usually allowed.
Yeah, and quote, showed him a bunch of Barney and pretended he was their son. End quote.
I mean, this is what we're getting third hand from Dex, Barry's brother, who does like picking on him. And as I said, seems very frustrated with this huge ongoing lie that he is a human child and not a bear child.
Barry is voiced by Haley Joel Osment, who's just doing the Haley Joel Osment thing, doing a great job.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's fine.
Barry's kind of a nothing character, but it's fine.
That's kind of the thing is Barry has like no defining characteristic other than feeling like they're a bear and being obsessed with the country bears, but like,
and some generic childhood naivete, just like, I believe that you guys can get together and do this because you guys can do anything because you're the country bears. Like, okay, whatever. I guess, sure.
But to what end, right, is the thing that I always ask myself, right? And to talk about the Iron Giant, right? Because I brought it up earlier.
Sorry, are we going to come down really hard that the Country Bears is not as good a movie as the Iron Giant? Because I don't know.
Okay, all right. That's fair. You're right. That is a little bit unfair. But like, what is the point of this character? If they are supposed to be just like a naive child, they're not in that fun child shape, the fun little child shape that other children would look at and go, I'm one of those.
Because he's a bear.
Because they're a bear. They're also kind of annoying. Because they don't do anything. Just kind of hang around until the end of the movie when they decide to run away again, but home.
There's a subplot that does not exist in this movie. And the movie is better for this subplot not existing. But we talk about the demographics of this world. There are like 7 bears. Statistically speaking, Barry should be one of these bears' kids.
Yeah. Yes.
The fact that he isn't is fine. I don't think I would have liked that movie.
Mm-mm.
But in that case, they had to put more bears in.
They needed to, or just give Barry more character, more attitude, something. Like, Barry exists.
Some gratitude.
Yeah. They maybe Barry's whole thing is that, like, they're a big fan of the Country Bears, but when they play music, they play rock music and not country music. And oh, that's something. Anything. It just
That could be almost something if the Bears didn't also basically just play rock music.
Yeah, play stadium country, which is basically just like a knockoff of rock music. It's frustrating to me because it's like the point of the character. I know why. Like, I'm not stupid. I know why the character's in the movie, because fucking kids in 2002 don't give a shit about the Country Bear Jamboree. That's a thing that their parents make them get on before they're allowed to get on Winnie the Pooh Corner. Or, right? Like,
well, or because the line isn't long and you just need to go inside and get some air conditioning. You sit at Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah. And like the kids don't give a shit about this IP. So you need a character that kids can attach themselves to. But again, because it is not in that adorable, tiny human-shaped package, it's not going to do that.
I will say Barry does one other thing that's interesting is not the right word, but he does one other thing to push the story forward.
Yes.
He is the only one of the bears who does not talk in an extremely exaggerated country accent. And the reason this is important is because sometimes you need somebody who doesn't talk in an extremely exaggerated country accent just so we can move the story forward a little bit faster, because they all talk real slow.
I would argue that, I don't remember the name of any of these motherfuckers, Ted Betterhead.
We don't see him till the end, though.
Yeah, but I would
Ted's
argue
the last one.
He doesn't. I would argue he doesn't speak in an exaggerated Southern accent.
What's a little weird is that, he doesn't, but he is explicitly brothers with the one who does.
Who does, yeah, it's wild.
Who has the most exaggerated country accent. So, this is right, Ted. Like, okay, man. Can you stop slurring for a second?
Yeah, because he just sounds like Diedrich Bader, who, by the way, double role in this movie. Give that man an Oscar. No way!
I didn't even realize.
Yep.
Diedrich Bader is going on my list of people that this podcast has created a parasocial relationship with.
No, absolutely.
Every time I see Diedrich Bader now, I'm like, yes, Diedrich Bader's here. This is going to be a fun character.
Absolutely. He plays one of the police officers.
Mm-hmm, the one with a fake mustache. And
he's also and doing a really good job of, like, squashing his natural, like, if you've ever heard Diedrich Bader voice actor role before, he has, like, a really deep vocal fry. And so he is, like, doing everything in his power in his role as a police officer to just squash that down.
It was so funny to me, the police officers in this movie, to jump ahead a little bit, Barry runs away. And his parents call the police about it, because that's what you do.
That's what you do.
The police officers in this movie do such a dry humor that, like, somehow still works in this over-the-top movie. They're probably the best part. I know I keep on saying that, like, I had a different favorite part, but, like, the characterization, they just bring, like, a little more actual levity to the movie when the bears are just running around singing songs.
Here's what it is, right? Is the Country Bears the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They are not.
No.
They do not have any, like, charisma. They don't really have any defining characteristics.
They're not even the Blues Brothers. So I kept watching this and thinking, like, oh, well, the police are chasing them because that's what happens in the Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah.
But the Country Bears are not allowed to commit crimes.
Nope.
So they, like, the police just think they kidnap Barry and react. And for some reason, everybody reacts to this as a run away instead of, like, Barry, did you run away from home? Mm-hmm. Go with these police officers.
Yeah.
I'm not taking this lost kid with me on my reunion tour.
Listen, kid, thanks for all the help, but it sounds like you need to get home to your mom and dad. Oh,
yes.
And now, Barry's been denied by the one family he thought he had.
P.S. The lesson of this movie is that family are the people who love you.
That's what the movie says is its message.
but like also fucking no shit. Like, why
Yeah.
does Barry need to learn this? He was raised in an extremely loving household. His dad, Ben Stein, basically says he's his favorite son.
It is so wild to me that that his dad says that we love you just as much as our other son. Maybe more.
Maybe more.
Maybe. But to be fair, in his letter that the Country Bears read later, Barry does say that if they had met his older brother, they would know why he was miserable.
Here's the thing. His older brother is such a Disney Channel style mean older brother.
It's comical.
In that he is not mean enough and likes his brother too much for him to also be like the problem of the family. Because like immediately after he runs away, he's like, well, like I did not want that to happen. Like you could see it immediately, and it's like, of course you didn't want that to happen. So why did it happen?
Yeah. Why did it happen? Because it had to happen.
Because it had to happen. Stuff just happens in this movie.
This movie is ostensibly a musical, and we're not going to talk about it because all the musical segments are not good.
One of the problem with the musical segments is that they are early 2000s.
Yeah.
Another problem with the musical segments are they are not only country, which is not a genre that I like particularly, but they are a style of country that feels fake to me. And it's okay if you enjoy this style of country, but
It's not.
like it's not what I grew up on, and I think it feels a little weird and kind of borderline gross. I don't know exactly how to define it.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't love pop music, so when pop music and country mix, it's not my favorite. There's good country music that I do like.
Mm-hmm.
But it's usually sad. Like you know the classic country music where like somebody's getting drunk because their wife left them and their dog died and stuff like that. Those are those are like, that's more country to me than anything in here.
I have a love-hate relationship with country music, and I grew up listening to country music, like music in Spanish, but like the only music I listened to basically throughout my childhood was basically like 90s, early 2000s country. And this kind of country that they are doing in this movie is specifically the country music that I hated and made me stop listening to country music. And now all I listen to is like sad indie jams and like synthwave, because I'm that kind of a person.
You hate to lose somebody to that, you know?
And yet, you know, hey, it's what I like. It's also like the music has nothing to do with like the trials and tribulations of the characters, right? Like we don't have a ballad of like any ballads by any of these bears about like them missing the times that have gone by.
I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to keep talking about the Blues Brothers, but this is like shot for shot the Blues Brothers, so I kind of got to.
Yeah, then let's talk about Phineas and Ferb, right? Because within the time span of 30 minutes, Phineas and Ferb did this exact plot and also gave every single member of the band a song.
In a 30-minute episode? Damn, way to go with Phineas and Ferb. But I was thinking, when you brought that up, I was thinking about, you've seen Blues Brothers, right?
Oh God, not since I was a kid. But
all right, see, I don't want to drag this on too much if you're not going to pick up on it. One of the band members is married,
yeah,
and working at a diner that he owns with his wife.
Nice, good for them.
She sings. She is a famous singer who I cannot think of right now. I cannot think of her name because, frankly, she was before my generation. Because the Blues Brothers was also before my generation. I just grew up on it.
Yeah.
She sings like her big single at him that is, you know, about having respect to her. And even though this is very jukebox musical, even though it's like, oh, this is the song that she has to sing because she's in this movie, it works, and he gets up and leaves despite her big song, and that feels kind of important. Even though, like, here's the other thing about that movie, none of the band members are actual characters almost at all, because they're actual band members and not actors. So you kind of have to get that all that stuff across in the music and the songs. And this, to be fair, this movie does try to give them some characteristics, but it's not very interesting. Like, they want to play country music. It is not super clear until we meet Ted Betterhead why they even stopped. And I like Ted Betterhead because he was the first one who was like, you guys suck. It like sucks to be in a band with you.
But also, that's still like not enough of a reason, you know? Like,
no, but at least it was something.
It was something. Yeah, there was.
I was like grasping at straws. One of them says randomly that like the one human that he called earlier was like the guy who stole the Country Bears from him. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Guess what? We never find out.
Doesn't matter.
Side note, this movie has a lot of funny ideas in it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the funny ideas is the drummer's a human.
That is pretty good.
When I first saw it in the documentary where it was fucking 5 bears singing a song and a human in the background on the drums, I was like, that's great. Here's the thing, that character is nothing. Mm-hmm. I did not care for him. I super wanted him to be one of the people they had to pick up, and for him to be, for some reason, like the only one who was a success. I thought that would be so much funnier, but whatever.
First of all, that character is the illustrious MC Gainey, who is like one of the most working character actors in Hollywood. Like, he has been in a million movies and a million TV shows.
I'm happy that he got the screen time then. Like, he was sure on screen a lot.
He sure was.
Driving the van.
We know him as, God, I think he was Captain of the Guard in Tangled.
Interesting. That's interesting because he has a pretty deep voice as the Captain of the Guard, and I feel like he doesn't in this one. He's kind of got a sort of pothead roadie type voice.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good actor. He tends to play like biker guys. That's kind of been his thing, but because that's just what he looks like, you know. Mm-hmm. But like, he's been in like a million things. It's one of those things where it's like he is so underutilized in this movie that it's like it kind of sucks that he just is good to have so little to do.
So what happens in this movie is that Barry goes out, he runs away from home. He finds out that the Country Bear Hall is going to be torn down by the bank. Christopher Walken representing the bank. And he decides that they have to get the band back together, which everybody thinks this is a crazy idea. It'll never happen in a million years. It's not clear why they think that. But then they go and they get everybody and they get them back together, and then they play, and it all works out. And here's my problem, is that there's not that much left to talk about. I have, like, a list of my, like, stuff that I enjoyed, but it wasn't that much stuff.
There is one thing left to talk about.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest twist, I think, in the history of film. It made this movie cinema for me. Okay. You know what? Let's talk about the Christopher Walken character for a little bit first, because I want to build up. Christopher Walken is Reed Thimble, who is a banker, who is the new manager of the bank. Owner of the bank? They never really settle on what he is to this bank.
It seems like the subtlety seems to be that he bought this bank specifically so that he could tear down Country Bear Hall. He has this great scene where
it's so good.
Many models of Country Bear Hall, and he is smashing them, and every time he doesn't change the line at all, which makes me think this might have been originally one scene.
And then they just repeated it in the edit.
But every time he just goes, he puts the Country Bear thing, he pulls a lever, it smashes Country Bear Hall.
A comical anvil.
Oh no! Country Bear Hall! And he does that like 5 times.
It's so, and then we even get to see him though. He picks up the like remains of the popsicle sticks and then throws them into a large pile of other models, and he does it again. And at first I was like, so this guy's whole thing, he hates Country Bear Hall and he wants to destroy it. He has no other purpose in life. He is
incorrect.
I would have this is like exactly the character that we loved in The Great Muppet Caper, right? Like just like like a cartoon of a human being. And then we find out that he's not Reed Thimble, a banker. No. He is actually Benny Bogswoggle. And who, now listener, you might be thinking, Who the fuck is that?
Well, here's the problem. We left out some very important backstory for the Country Bears. Which you could be forgiven for thinking it was just a stupid joke they made.
Yeah, but and to be fair, it is in isolation a great joke, which is that the Country Bears got their debut, their breakout hit, doing a talent show, and they won. They got first place, and second place was an arm musician, so a guy who does like arm farts, and that's the joke. And that's not that funny, but the second place guy gets so upset, he throws a chair at one of them, which is so funny. And that arm fart guy, that was a young Benny Bogswoggle.
Actually, I do quite like when Christopher Walken is like, finally I'll have my revenge, and one of the guys is like, you threw a chair at me.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really funny. It's Christopher Walken does such a great job too. There is a gun in this movie for like 3 seconds, and Christopher Walken is holding it and pointing it at these bears. And it is the only time in this movie I've been like, oh shit. Hold on. These bears could die.
These bears could die right now. He does appear to have a fucking Wookiee-style bandolier of tranquilizer darts, so I think it's supposed to be a trank gun. That's how they're getting away with this. But he doesn't say trank gun, and he is threatening them with it.
I also don't... I know what trank guns look like, and like I could tell you right now that they didn't have one of those, I think, on set, and I think they just used a real gun model. Because hey, this movie was made in a year. Like
they just went to the dollar store, got whatever, spray painted it black.
He is like genuinely, Christopher Walken is a joy in this movie. He is like acting his heart out. At the end of the movie, when his evil plot is foiled and all of the people storm into the barn, to watch the Country Bears perform, they like them coming in somehow pushes him out, and as he's being pushed out, he goes, "I hate you, bears!" And I was just like, yeah, this guy's great.
He's having a good time. So many of the people who are acting in this movie are having a good time, and that's nice, I gotta say.
It doesn't feel like... Sometimes you watch a movie like The Lone Ranger or one of the later Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and you're like, everybody involved in this is having a bad time. It's stressful. You can tell that they're like working a lot, that the cast and crew is like really taking a hit out of it. This movie... It feels like everybody seemed to just have a great time. Now, unfortunately, the thing that came out of that great time is kind of terrible. But I don't feel like anybody involved in this movie was like, working a 40-hour day.
Yeah, no, it just feels like a chill movie. And that is, I think, the one big point in its favor. That, like, if you're watching it, it doesn't sort of have that sort of... I would almost call it like an echo of stress.
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't have that like veneer of like they were working so hard on this movie that this happened. It kind of feels like every scene at the house could have been filmed in a day or two, and maybe was.
Yeah, I think it probably was. I almost believe part of the reason why this movie looks so expensive is its only practical effects. I bet that was also a cost-saving measure in 2002, I bet in 2002 this movie looked cheap.
It means that this movie has aged
remarkably well.
That way, quite well.
Yeah.
Now, does it feel like the most early 2000s movie you have ever seen? It, in fact, does.
I cannot...
I do not need to talk about the fucking Spice Girls hair all over the place in this movie.
the low cut pants that everybody's wearing, the like light flare, all of them are faded. It's so weird how late 90s, early 2000s this movie feels. The frosted tips on the older brother's hair.
Yeah. I feel like we're wrapping up already. I do want to mention a couple of lines that I liked in this movie.
Yeah.
Because there are some choice lines.
Some earworms.
Early on, Christopher Walken is talking with one of the... I guess he just works at the Country Bear Hall. He's a big bear. Okay? Yeah. Christopher Walken starts grilling him about what is happening. with the movie. And he goes, "Over yonder, a monkey." And that entertained me so much because he put no effort into it. Christopher Walken does turn around. And instead of saying "over there," he says "over yonder." And I was like, I didn't think I would enjoy that, but I did.
Yeah, that's Big Al, I believe.
Big Al. Another one, maybe my favorite one, we'll see, is when the two police officers have just gone into the restaurant that the bears have left. One of them looks out the window and says "suspicious activity" at 2:00.
Yes.
And Diedrich fucking Bader
loves this. I love this.
Looks at his watch for like a second and a half, looks up and says, "How could you possibly know that?"
How could you possibly know that?
He just sounds like kind of exhausted with his partner, like, "Oh, okay, at 2:00. Oh, and then one more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They are watching Scooby-Doo, Hanna-Barbera.
Yes, a Hanna-Barbera knockoff
adaptation. It's great because there is no earthly reason for this scene to even be in this movie.
It is used as a scene change. Like, oh, we're doing now we know that we're in a motel, but it happens so out of nowhere that it took me a while to even realize that that's what it was supposed to be.
So they're watching this very, very low budget Hanna-Barbera TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And they fucking kill an alien with the power of music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And all the bears are watching, and it just pans back to them. One of them just goes, "That was bad." And that's it. Scene over. That was great. I needed more shit like that out of the movie.
Yeah, it's...
So actually, this is the other thing, though. Andy.
Yes.
How popular are the country bears?
Like in the world of the show?
In the
world of the movie.
In the world of the show, they appear to fight aliens, so they better be popular.
They better be popular.
In the world of this movie, how popular are they?
I think the movie is trying to give us the understanding that they are like the next Beatles. They are BTS. Here's the thing.
They don't seem to realize that they are the most popular band of all time.
Mm-hmm.
They live in a world where country music is the biggest music of all time.
It was already a terrible world.
I suppose it could happen. But then they are the biggest country musicians of all time. Fucking Willie Nelson is on TV talking about how great the country bears were. Is it possible for them to be as down on their luck as they are?
And it just doesn't make any sense.
If you compare it to the Blues Brothers, the band in the Blues Brothers was never big. If you compare it to the Muppets were big, and
it's a whole scene when they go to Kermit. It's awesome.
And only Kermit has money, and he's just sad because he just has these residuals from the Muppet Show or whatever, and he's just sitting in this mansion with nobody else around.
Mm.
But here, nobody has money, and I'm just baffled. Why don't you have money? Maybe that one human managed to get the residuals away from them. But in that case, why didn't he have money?
He's not even a character.
No, he's not. We are told that he has betrayed the country bears before, and then at the end he betrays them again.
He betrays them again.
It doesn't feel like a betrayal because we haven't seen him since the, frankly, pretty okay scene where it turns out he's at an office supply store pretending it's his office. But why is he there? Why isn't he rich? I'm confused. Somebody should be rich from the country bears.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. And again, it speaks to a lack of thought
or effort. I don't care.
Maybe because if the stakes were smaller, right? Because the stakes in this movie are already pretty small. But if it wasn't we owe the bank $20,000, if it was we owe the bank, which is for all things not that much money, you could get you guys are a small business, you could get a loan.
If they were a cult band, could they earn $20,000 in one night?
That's what I'm saying is
maybe. Yeah, it would be good if it was toned down a little bit, so we weren't stuck with this.
Yeah. My favorite joke in this movie happens at the beginning of the movie, where I'm pretty sure the name of their first album is That One That Be Our First or something like that.
Okay.
And I really liked that. I was like, that's pretty good. Actually, that was the biggest laugh that this movie got at. I mean, it was like 2 seconds in.
I felt like I needed more hillbilly style music, and it's not that I wanted it. It's that, like, if I was going to buy into this world at all,
it would also be funnier if they were the biggest band in the world and they were just a jug band.
That would be hilarious.
Also, I'm looking at this illustration of the Country Bear Jamboree poster, and I love this. I love this art style. Disney doesn't draw characters like this anymore. It's in that, like, almost Robin Hood anthropomorphic style.
Oh, I do not have it. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at these bears from the actual Country Bear Jamboree, and they do not, in particular, look like the Country Bears.
Yeah, and that's I guess that's kind of the elephant in the room, right? It's like, even if you're one of those Disney freaks.
Sorry, they literally have a guitar with one string and a jug.
They're a jug
I'm mad
band.
about this now. Like, I'm legitimately mad about this because the only thing they kept from this was the harmonica. Oh man, these guys are creepy to look at.
They are very stressful. The actual audio animatronics. But there's a poster, the poster of, not the Grizzly Hall poster. There's a 2024 one, not that one. Oh, so actually that one looks pretty decent as well. I'm not too fond of it, but
oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, they do look like a Robin Hood.
I love this poster. This poster's great.
There's a fucking kid on this poster, which means there was already a kid associated with the Country Bears.
Are you shitting me? Hold up.
There's a kid, he's holding a little teddy bear.
Oh my god. What? Oh my god. Okay, I am upset now. So even if you're one of these, I'm stressing this appropriately. One of these Disney freaks who loves the Country Bear Musical Jamboree. It's your favorite ride. You're not going to like this movie either, because it's nothing like this.
On the one hand, as the movie started, I was like, this movie knows exactly what it wants to be. They're going to make the Country Bears movie. It's going to be stupid. And you know what? I respect that. But it loses my respect as it goes on, where it refuses to be the Country Bear Jamboree.
And I guess for me, I look at this and I see like, oh, the Emperor's New Groove truly is a magical thing. The Emperor's New Groove could have been this bad.
Right, it's the one movie that I know of that Disney made that was like functionally broken the whole way through, and they ended up with a great movie. When like a lot of the times they have these broken movies and they're like, yeah, we just released what we had and this was it. I am more disappointed in this movie than I wanted to be, considering now we have to watch another movie that I know I won't like.
Oh, I know, and we're gonna have to talk about the elephant in the room on that one as well. God, I'm looking at this vintage poster for the Country Bear Jamboree, and I genuinely love these characters and how they're designed. They look so terrible.
The choice to make them look like real bears is more and more confusing as I look at these animatronics.
Yeah, it's wild. What if this movie was like a Space Jam, right? All the bears were animated. What do you think about that? I don't think it would have worked.
I don't think it would have worked. Partially because that's like another $50 million. Like, oh
yeah, for sure. That's $100 million easily. When did Looney Tunes Back in Action come out, actually?
90s, so I think a little earlier than this?
No,
although maybe
I'm
wrong. No, because that was
Brendan Fraser.
That was Brendan Fraser. He wasn't big in the 90s yet, I don't think.
He was big in 99. 99 was The Mummy. 2003.
Okay.
Wow, like a year after this. So I want to play a little game with you, Tony. It's a game that we haven't played in a while.
Okay.
The director of this movie, unfortunately, I don't think ever directed anything before or since this movie came out. It seems to me like they were an animation guy who somehow got this directing job.
He doesn't.
But
I wouldn't say he was bad at directing. It
was fine.
I would be. I'm a little surprised that it. And maybe they got different smaller directors for different stuff. I'm a little surprised that it wasn't just directed by somebody who directed music videos.
So I will say that the music video segments were specifically directed by someone else.
Okay, that tracks.
I don't know who. Can't get their name on. I can't find their name very easily. But their director of cinematography, so the guy behind the camera, right? The guy physically holding the camera. His name is Mitchell Amundsen. This was his first movie that he had ever worked on as a cinematographer. And I want to read to you everything he does after this.
Okay.
Because my man has had a career.
This, by the way, this is one of my favorite things that we do on this podcast. I love that the guy who did Mad Max did Happy Feet. I love knowing that in my head.
Yeah, it's good information. So the director of cinematography, Mitchell Amundsen, did The Country Bears. Does not get a project for 3 years. In 2005 is the director of cinematography for Transporter 2. And then in 2007, works under Michael Bay for Transformers.
Oh, okay.
Then works with Timur Bekmambetov for the 2008 Curving Bullets movie, Wanted. Does G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra in 2009.
Now, is that the second G.I. Joe?
That is the first one.
Okay. Interesting. It's not coming back a lot for these series, huh?
Nope. Does a teen comedy film called High School that I've never heard of.
Bad name for a film.
Right. Same year, director of cinematography for Jonah Hex. You remember?
Yeah,
remember
Jonah
Hex?
Hex. I mean, I guess I didn't see Jonah Hex. I have no earthly idea if Jonah Hex is a bad movie or just based on a character that nobody cared to go see.
Both are true. I can tell you that both are true.
Excellent.
2012, we get a double feature of Premium Rush, which I remember, but I don't think anyone else remembers. It is an action movie starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt where he's on a bike.
I wonder when nobody else remembers this movie, Andy.
And Red Dawn, the remake.
Is that vampires? Sounds like vampires.
No, that
Which
is
one's Red Dawn?
North Korea invades the United States.
Oh, that movie!
Starring Chris Hemsworth, Josh Peck, and Bread Boy Josh Hutcherson. Yeah.
Did people watch Red Dawn, the remake?
I did. I watched that movie on DVD. I also watched the original. The original's also bad, but it is a better movie. This really, the fact that The Country Bears is their first movie is so bananas to me, because in 2013, they work on the movie adaptation of Odd Thomas and Now You See Me, the magician heist film.
Now, is that the good magician heist film? Or is there another magician heist film that I am thinking of?
This is the one that has Social Network guy in it, and Mark Ruffalo.
I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't actually seen the movie, but there's one of those that I know is purportedly good.
I can't tell you which one, but it's this one. I can tell you that this movie gets a sequel, and the sequel is not called Now You Don't, which is a shame.
Hey, what the fuck? Hey.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I know, right? It's part of the Now You See Me series. Apparently there's going to be a Now You See Me 3, and it's still not called Now You Don't.
Now You 3 Me.
Now You 3 Me. Oh,
it's bad, actually. You know what? I would appreciate it if they did call it that, because that is very bad.
We're gonna sprint through these next ones. 2014 worked on a short film. 2016 did a sequel to an Ice Cube and Kevin Hart movie. 2017 worked on a Dax Shepard comedy, Chips, and also A Bad Mom's Christmas, which I believe is a raunchy comedy with Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell, and Kathryn Hahn. You know, peak mid 2010s energy. 2018 works with none other than Brian Henson son of Jim Henson, on the Happy Time Murders. Is the director of cinematography for the Happy Time Murders. In 2021, is the director of cinematography for Home Sweet Home Alone, a Home Alone movie that came out, I believe, exclusively on Netflix.
Gotta be Disney Plus.
No, you're right. Disney Plus. You're correct. I was
Disney
wrong.
Plus, I know, has the other Home Alone movies.
Well, do you want to know what else he did for Disney Plus? He did a remake of Cheaper by the Dozen in 2022.
I bet you nobody watched that one. I don't want to say because it was bad, but because it's a remake of a movie, I don't think people remember that well.
And which in and of itself is a remake of a movie that people don't remember that well.
Keep that train a-rolling.
Finally, this year was the director of cinematography for Renfield, the comedy movie about Dracula starring Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult.
I'll be honest, that one's on my list of movies that I should, pick up and see at some point.
Same. I've heard it's good. What a wild career.
I saw the preview for it before fucking Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
And I was like...
You went to watch Cocaine Bear?
Yeah, my cousin wanted to see it, so we went out to see it together.
Fun.
It was... I don't know if you ever saw it or know anything about it. It's Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It's like...
Makes sense. Yeah.
Shot for shot Jurassic Park.
But
except with a drug subplot instead of smuggling out the egg subplot.
Oh, that's fun.
It is actually a quite fun movie that, I expected to... I don't love gore. I expected to not be into the gore. But it was just so dumb that I was like, okay, I'm for this.
I truly, my hat is off to Mitchell Amundsen, who is a person who I would love to talk to. They have had a wild career.
We have so many of those people on the list now of gosh, I wish I could talk to this person about this weird shit that they did.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how being a director of cinematography works, though. As being, part of the industry. Because directors choose who they work with a lot. But they don't seem to be choosing him, even though he's worked on a lot of movies. He's, all over the place.
I get the sense that he is not... a lot of times directors and cinematographers work hand in hand, because director of cinematography, it just means that, all of the technical aspects of moving and placing the camera is your job, and then what that image looks like is the director's job, right? They often make choices about what lenses to use during which shots, what type of camera, and they'll even often work on color balance and stuff. So the director wants the image to look a certain way. Director of cinematography's job is to make it look like that by every technical means at their disposal. I get the sense that Mitchell Amundsen is probably just a guy that everybody knows is good. If he is working with this many directors over the course of his career, I get the sense that he is just a hardworking dude. He's not anybody's best friend or go-to guy, but you don't get a career in this industry without being good at your fucking job.
Right. I also do kind of wonder if a bigger director might do enough of their own director of cinematography work that they don't necessarily want somebody who's got their own strong opinions about it.
Yeah, that's
and maybe
fair.
That's why he doesn't do that many sequels of big movies, because it's well, now that Michael Bay has made Transformers, he knows what he wants Transformers 2 to be,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the same time, though, I'm looking at this list of movies and he is all over the place in terms of directorial style. I get the sense that he really is just kind of a very technical dude, very good at his job. And yeah, I bet I can tell you that for certain directors, I don't know about Michael Bay, I don't know much about him, but Steven Spielberg or Steven Spielberg is he's not a technical guy. He'll sit behind the camera, but he lets the director of cinematography do their job, holding that camera. But other directors are a lot more hands-on with that stuff for sure. I'm trying to remember his name, the Zodiac guy. He's one of those, but
I have terrible news. I don't know anybody's name, so I cannot help.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I don't want to get too lost in the sauce here. I just wanted this guy's career is so wild to me. So that was The Country Bears.
It was all right.
I didn't like it. I thought it was I'm never getting those 88 minutes back, and I'm sad about that.
If you cut out every song in The Country Bears and replaced it with a song I liked, I would enjoy this movie. I know that
that's half the movie.
I was gonna say
if you replaced half the movie
in one way, that's a a bad mark. But what I mean is, like, I enjoyed a lot of the movie that was, like, stupid character moments and just, like, actors having fun with it. But the points where they were playing music, I was just like, I would, like, completely shut it out. I was like, I don't care about this at all. And if it was a jukebox musical that I got to choose some more of the jukebox stuff instead of them, I think I'd have a good time.
That's fair. Every minute of this movie, I could feel Death themselves like tapping on the hourglass, and I just did not have a fun time watching it. But I was excited to talk about it.
That's how I felt about Balto too.
So join us next time, please.
Oh, Lord.
Because Disney made not one, but 2 movies about country music.
Is that seriously what that movie's about?
Home on the Range?
Yeah.
I believe I've told you this before. Yes.
I mean, I know you kind of said it in the last episode. I'm just like, I did not know that their last classically animated Disney movie.
Until
Princess and the Frog. But
yeah. But
well,
for a good 5 years, this was it. This was what had to be remembered.
I feel like that's even how they advertised it. Like, they really pushed the idea that they were, like, shutting down 2D animation. Like, this is your last chance to see this. And it was a garbage movie that I don't think they wanted to be very popular, so that they were right in shutting down their 2D animation. I don't know. It feels bad. I'm gonna watch this movie and I'm gonna feel bad the whole time, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm excited to watch I haven't seen this movie since the year it came out, and I remember even then it being kind of a garbage fire. So,
how old were you?
We'll see. I would have been 9 years old.
9 years old is so young to be able to form the opinion that a cartoon movie is a garbage fire. This is going to be terrible, because if you at 9 can realize it's terrible, it's got to be bad.
Here's the thing, right, is Spider-Man 3 comes out in 2007. Spider-Man 3 is the first time in my life I'm like, oh, sometimes you can try really hard and come out with a bad product.
Too many villains. Why are we throwing so many villains at Spider-Man? What's that about?
Yeah, I think I can confidently say now that Spider-Man 3 is not the worst Spider-Man movie ever made. But
I'm not gonna fight you about it, but I do think I would have to think about it and, like, really parse them out. Anyway, keep going.
Home on the Range really put a dent in my, like, oh, every Disney movie is the best movie ever. Like, really, I truly believed that every Disney movie was a home run until, ironically, Home on the Range. And then I was like, okay, movies can be bad.
Movies can be bad. Thank you for listening to Direct to Video VHS. I have been your host, Tony Robusto.
I have been your host, Andy Reyes.
You can find me at Blue Sky, at Theater Bats, or at inspiredbytrueevents.org.
You can find me at timeunderpictures.com.
That's the Time Honored Pictures podcast. So your favorite podcaster? I'm terrible at this now. It's been too long again. I went on vacation in between the time that we did this one and the last one. So now I'm broken.
I've been on vacation for my other podcast for a year because life has been crazy. But hopefully, and I know I keep saying this, we'll be coming back. We're still on it. I paid money to keep that website. We're gonna do something with it, and whatever it is, you'll find it there.
You can find the podcast at direct2.video or on the YouTube channel or fucking anywhere. You can rate it there. Why not? Thank you to... I find myself double checking now. Because last time was Lee Rosevere, so I got myself confused.
But this time it's
Scott Buckley for the music Homeward that we are using as our theme. I am the Ghost of Johnson.
The tagline for Home on the Range is Bust a Moo. All right, we're done.
Fuck off!
This movie feels like it was a test of my conviction. I'm not a religious man,
but you believe in putting the band back together because God told you to.
Yeah, that's my higher purpose.
Right. So whenever there's a movie about that,